Are you ready to be blown away? Are you ready to see your God? That's the real question. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get this thing going. Welcome to the end. Where the world suffers the death penalty for the wrongs it has committed. It's time. Hey, I've thought about you a lot today, and I got a lot to share with you. Things that are going to challenge your sense of what's right and what's wrong. Don't be afraid of that challenge. Don't be what the world calls ignorant when they are the ones who are ignorant. Because they contradict themselves all the time. Did you see him today? Did you experience him? The landowner. Your Boaz. Has he knocked on your door today? Have you knocked on his door today? Wow. That is an issue right there. So tonight, we are going to look at the book of Ruth, and I'm going to show you the connections with the book of Revelation. And I'm going to show you that the entire Bible, specifically the book of Revelation itself, is a great epic tale of the kidnapped or human trafficked bride of Christ by the enemy, and the great king is out to rescue her from the evil one, and is triumphant in the final act at the marriage supper. this is more like, and this is going to look more like it, the celebration in Narnia. Living creatures that you have no frame of reference in your mind whatsoever to understand or imagine what they look like, what they sound like. Wild, huh? So who we got up in here? Tammy Crimes, Frederick Newcomb, Black Knight, Hannah Tepper, Donnelly and Gwen, Sean Parker, what is up? Hannah Tepper, Spring SM77, Deborah Bundra, my people, Sonia Pickering, Yeah, just give everybody a second to get in and we'll go ahead and start. I am going to show you really an example of Sherry Largent. What's up? I'm going to show you something that's actually going to cause you to feel something. I'm going to ask you about that feeling. So, it's going up here. Let me get up here. Hold on. So, we are studying the book of Revelation. We've been in that book for quite a while. And what we're doing right now is we are taking a break. Not from the book per se, but just we're going to look at Ruth. And when you should recognize what I'm going to show you from all the studying that we've been doing. And we're going to talk about it. And I posed a question today on social media. We are so quick to talk about how Jacob, deceived the guy he worked for his wife who tricked him, and he got another 7 years. He had to work 7 years. For one woman. And then the dad tricked him and made him work another 7 years for the one he really wanted. And then, because he felt like he was wronged, Jacob went and marked all of these sheep and basically swindled the sheep out from under this land, this cattle owner, right? And we always hear like our Abraham. Remember Abraham? He was, he was so afraid of the Egyptians. He kind of put Sarah out there as the one that was gonna take the fall. Say, hey, tell her I'm your brother. Tell him I'm your brother. Don't, we do. He was a coward, right? Even Jacob, when he confronted Esau, he put his wife out in front, right? So these guys are just like, they're rough, but we look at the women of the Bible, and Americans, Westerners, has painted them as like flower, like the pillar of righteousness, like that these women are like the holy women, and I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you that the women of the Bible are actually just like Jacob, just like Abraham. And I'm hoping to not only reveal something to you, but to free you. To free you from the shame, ladies, that has been placed on you by your mothers. The shame that has been created in you over your sexuality by the media. Leave it to the enemy to make the very thing that is used to create life be the one thing that shames you more than any. So Sherry Largent says, the women in the Bible are awesome, and I'm going to show you that these women are just as scandalous, just as scheming, they are just as bad as Jacob. Now it came about in the days when the judges governed that there was a famine in the land. Okay, people are hungry. And a certain man of Bethlehem in Judah went to sojourn in the land of Moab with his wife and 2 sons. The name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife, Naomi. And the name of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion, Ephrathites of Bethlehem in Judah. Ephrathites of Bethlehem in Judah. Now they entered the land. This is very important to remember, so just you hang with me. I'm setting the stage for what I'm going to show you. Now they entered the land of Moab and remained there. Then Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. They took for themselves Moabite women as wives. Moabite women. A Orthodox Jew would have considered a Moabite woman like a Gentile. They took for themselves Moabite women as wives. The name of the one was Orpah, and in the name of the other, Ruth. And they lived there about 10 years. Then both Mahlon and Chilion also died, and the woman was bereft of her 2 children and her husband. Then she arose with her daughters-in-law, that she might return from the land of Moab. For she had heard in the land of Moab that the Lord had visited his people in giving them food. This woman is hungry. They are starving. They are packing up and they're just going out trying to find food. They are desperate. So she departed from the place where she was, and her 2 daughters-in-law with her, and they went on the way to return to the land of Judah. Her sons, her husband, they died they died from starvation, plague, famine. And they went on the way to return to the land of Judah. And Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, Go, return each of you to her mother's house. May the Lord deal kindly with you as I have dealt with the dead and with me. She is ready to die. She is ready to die. She is dirty. Her face is dirty. Her clothes are dirty. Her feet are dirty. She is emaciated. She is starving to death. She is not pretty. May the Lord grant that you may find rest. She's done, each in the house of her husband. Then she kissed them, and they lifted up their voices and wept. And they said to her, No, but we will surely return with you to your people. But Naomi said, Return, my daughters. Why should you go with me? Have I yet sons in my womb, that they may be your husbands? Return, my daughters, go, for I am too old to have a husband. Even if I said I have hope, if I should even have a husband tonight, and also bear sons, would you therefore wait until they were grown? She's saying, don't be stupid. No, my daughters, for it is harder for me than you. Go, for the hand of the Lord is gone forth against me. She is done. And they lifted up their voices and wept again, and Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clung to her. Then she said, Behold, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and her gods. These are pagans. Moabites, pagans. Naomi said to her, Behold, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and her gods. Return after your sister-in-law. Go with her, go with her. But Ruth said, Do not urge me to leave you, nor turn back from following you. For where you go, I will go. And where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God. She's like, hey, I'm just as desperate as you are, and there's strength in numbers. We're going to stick together here, and we're going to figure out how to eat. That is what she is saying. Don't make it more like, how would you say, pious. And that she's sitting there. This is abbreviated, folks. This is telling a story. This is not how it actually looked. This is telling the story of it. And they're trying to get this. This is a 7,000 to 8,000 year old document. Do not westernize it. Just let it go. And she says, where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. Thus may the Lord do to me and worse, if anything but death parts you and me. She's made a covenant. A Gentile made a covenant with a Jewess. When she saw that she was determined to go with her, she said no more to her. So they both went until they came to Bethlehem. And when they had come to Bethlehem, all the city was stirred because of them. And the women said, Is this Naomi? And she said to them, Do not call me Naomi, call me Mara, for the Almighty has dealt very bitterly with me. Oh, now she's feeling sorry for herself. Oh, woe is me. Don't call me by my name. I'm just going to go eat worms and die. Yeah, don't do that. Don't call me Naomi. Call me Mara, for the Almighty has dealt very bitterly with me. See? I went out full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why do you call me Naomi? She says it again. Since the Lord has witnessed against me and the Almighty has afflicted me. So Naomi returned, and with her Ruth the Moabitess, her daughter-in-law, who returned from the land of Moab. And they came to Bethlehem at the beginning of barley harvest. You know what, you don't think it should be read like that? Well, why don't you tell me how you think it should be read? Have you ever been so hungry? Have you ever been willing to compromise your morals to make sure you eat? to make sure your children eat. You've never been in that situation. I've never been in that situation. And you don't know what you do when you're going to be in that situation. And you're going to find yourself in that situation soon. So calm your jets. So she departed and went and gleaned in the field after the reapers. And she happened to come to the portion of the field belonging to Boaz, who was of the family of Elimelech. Now behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem and said to the reapers, "May the Lord be with you." And he said to them, "May the Lord bless you." Then Boaz said to his servant, who was in charge of the reapers, "Yo-ho, buddy, who's the young woman? Who is this? Whose young woman is this? Who does she belong to? Whose young woman is this?" Okay, get your Western ideas out of it. A wife was the property of the husband. What have we been talking about? Those three names that are written on you, that make you the property, the wife of Christ. You take on his name, his new name, Christian. That's what we do now. The servant in charge of the reapers replied, "She's the young Moabite woman who returned with Naomi from the land of Moab." And he said, please let, and she said, "Please let me glean and gather after the reapers." He's still telling the story, right? Let me do it again. The servant in charge of the reapers replied, "She is the young Moabite woman who returned with Naomi from the land of Moab." And she said, "Please let me glean and gather after the reapers among the sheaves." Thus she came and she remained from the morning until now. She's been sitting in the house for a little while. So he goes over there to that house, right? He goes over to that house, goes in, and then he says, then Boaz said to Ruth, then Boaz said to Ruth, "Listen carefully, my daughter. Do not go to glean in another field." He's like, hey, baby. Yo, baby. You stick around my field, okay? You stick around my field. Do not go glean in another field. Furthermore, do not go on from this one, but stay here with my maids. He said, "Yo, baby, why don't you hang here? You just hang here and you'll be good. I got you six. And then he said, "Let your eyes be on the field which they reap, and go after them. Indeed, I have commanded." So this guy, he sees her, and he's already like, he is making a move. You got to realize, Ruth is probably 17, 18, maybe 19, 20, in her late 20s, maybe early 20s. Who knows? She could be 19 for all we know. But Boaz, he's an older man, 40, right? Or maybe he's in his 30s. He says, "Let your eyes be on the field which they reap, and go after them." He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to tell you where to go so I know where to find you too." So he's showing interest. He's flirting. That's what's happening, ladies and gentlemen. Then she fell on her face, bowing to the ground, and said to him, "Why have I found favor in your sight, that you should take notice of me, since I am a foreigner?" Boaz replied to her, "All that you have done for your mother-in-law after the death of your husband has been fully reported to me, and how you left your father and your mother in the land of your birth, and came to a people that you did not previously know. May the Lord reward your work, and your wages be full from the Lord. So he's hiring her too. He's going to hire her. The God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to seek refuge. Very important. Then she said, I have found favor in your sight, my Lord. For you have comforted me, and indeed have spoken kindly to your maidservant, though I'm not like one of your maidservants. He goes, oh, I know. Oh, I know. Trust me. Trust me, little girl. I know you are not. See, we're not going to, you can be legalistic. You can be as satanic as you want, because legalism, that's satanic. You have been shamed. Those of you who have a problem with this, you have been shamed. You have been made to feel dirty, wrong. And that shame keeps you doing it, keeps you obsessed with sex, keeps you addicted to pornography. Because you're full of shame. When she rose to glean, Boaz commanded his servants, saying, let her glean even among the sheaves, and do not insult her. Also, you shall purposefully pull out for her some grain from the bundles, and leave it that she may glean, and do not rebuke her. See, you guys, you're always like, oh man, he's just being, she's showing his gratitude to her, and that's it. Come on. So she gleaned in the field until evening. Then she beat out what she had gleaned, and it was about an ephah of barley. She took it up and went into the city, and her mother-in-law saw what she had gleaned. She also took it out and gave Naomi what she had left after she was satisfied. Her mother-in-law then said to her, where did you glean today? And where did you work? May he who took notice of you be blessed. So she told her mother-in-law with whom she had worked and said, the name of the man with whom I work today is Boaz. Naomi said, she's like, such a small world. In fact, Naomi came this way because she heard about stuff like this going on. Hey, it's what she said. Naomi said to her daughter-in-law, may he be blessed of the Lord, who has not withdrawn his kindness to the living and to the dead. Again, Naomi said to her, the man is our relative. He is one of our closest relatives. And she didn't know that already? She didn't know that he was here? This is where he's from. Then Ruth the Moabitess said, furthermore, he said to me, you should stay close to my servants until they have finished all their harvest. Naomi said to Ruth, her daughter-in-law, it is good, my daughter, that you go out with his maids. She's like, let me tell you, this is our chance. When she says it's good, you think, what do you think she's thinking about? You think, oh, it's good. We're going to find you a husband, girl. She's the one that's desperate for a husband. We're going to find you a husband, girl, and I'm going to get taken care of. You think, why is it so good? Deborah Bunger said Naomi knew. She knew. She did know, but she is desperate. She has come there for Boaz. And if you don't understand that, You'll just have to read it more, I guess, and realize that God is always the hero of every Old Testament book. God is the hero. God is highlighting Boaz for a reason, not Ruth. You are Ruth, but it's more Boaz. The Lord is the hero in this story. He's working behind the scenes to work it out, to preserve the line of Christ, to preserve the Jews. And these people are desperate. And Naomi said to Ruth, her daughter-in-law, "It is good, my daughter, that you go out with his maids, so that others do not fall upon you in another field. Keep you safe." She is scared of death. That's what all that ranting was about earlier. She is scared. Naomi said to her daughter-in-law, "May it be blessed of the Lord who has not withdrawn his kindness to the living and to the dead." That's all she talks about, right? She's feeling sorry for herself. You know, she's worried about dying. Here, I'm looking for it. I mean, in the context, when Naomi is talking about death, she's afraid of it. This is showing her personality. When she's all crying to the daughter-in-laws, she's hungry, she's desperate, right? When he said, then she arose, like everybody's dying around her. Her kids are dead. The husbands are dead. Her boys are dead. Her husband, everybody's died. They're dead. They're gone. Then she arose with her daughters-in-law that she might return from the land of Moab. For she had heard in the land of Moab that the Lord had visited his people in giving them food. Yeah. So she departed from that place where she was in her daughter-in-law, yada, yada, yada. And she says, "Go, return each of you to her mother's house. May the Lord deal with you kindly, with you as he has dealt with the dead and with me." See? But Naomi said, when they said, "No, we'll stay with you," she said, "Return, my daughters. Why should you go with me? Have I yet sons in my womb? Our womb is dead. Return to my daughters. Go, for I am too old to have a husband. I'm dead, and I have no hope. She's dying, and if I should ever have a husband tonight, and also bear sons, would you therefore wait until they are grown?" She is afraid of dying. Ruth, and folks, Naomi, when you're going to see what Naomi does in a minute, Naomi could have been totally manipulating Ruth. I'm sorry if you can't see it. You're stuck on a Western idea, and you're not looking at it from the perspective of desperate times and wanting to survive. You know, "Oh, your sister-in-law's going back. Go back with her. Go back. Go. I'm just going to go over here and eat worms and die. You just go. Go on." Come on. How many times are you really going to think that a mother-in-law? Come on. A mother-in-law? You haven't heard, "Oh, I'm going to go die. I'm going to kill myself. You're leaving me. I'm just going to go over here and die." That's what's happening here, folks. And Ruth said, "Do not urge me to leave you or turn back. I'll stay with you." Go, "Stop crying. Stop crying. I'll stay with you. Or you die, I'll take care of you. Wherever you die, I'll be there. If you die, I'll die. I promise. Just stop crying." 18, when Naomi saw that she was determined to go with her, she said no more to her when she said, "I got her now." She's going to do what I want. I'm not alone. This lady is alone. So they both went until they came to Bethlehem. So we went all through all that, right? So Boaz comes in, and he notices her. He's like, who's this young woman? You think, see, he had heard about her, but he's like, who's this young woman? He noticed her. In fact, Naomi said, hey, it's good that you hang with those maids. It's good they noticed you. And then chapter 3, listen, okay? Stop listening with your heart. Don't hear it with your heart. Hear it with your mind, your brain. Read it with your eyes and not your heart. Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said to her, my daughter, shall I not seek security for you, that it may be well with you? So she's going to make sure that it goes well for Ruth, so Ruth will take care of her. So now they've made the deal. Naomi's doing her thing. Now is not Boaz our kinsman, with whose maids you were? Behold, he winnows barley at the threshing floor tonight. And she's like, come over here. I got a plan. Come here. Tonight, right? Ruth, calm down. Just listen. All right. Remember that new shepherd's outfit you bought the other day? Hear me out. Now Boaz, right there, verse 2. Now Boaz, right here, look right here. So you remember that shepherd's outfit you bought and that new perfume you got? Well, listen to this. Okay. So Boaz is our kinsman, right? With whose maids you were. Behold, he winnows barley at the threshing floor tonight. And guess what? We can take care of this. Go and wash yourself, clean up, and anoint yourself and put on your best clothes. You dress yourself and you look the best you can. And go down to the threshing floor. But do not make yourself known to the man until he is finished eating and drinking. It shall be when he lies down that you shall notice the place where he lies. And you shall go and uncover his feet and lie down. And then he will tell you what you shall do. So, this little passage right here is so controversial. And I want you to realize something, that other cultures don't look at sex like you do. If we look at Esther faked being a pagan and changed. Esther is not her real name. That's a pagan name. She pretended to be a pagan to make it into the court of the king. The saving of the Jews stuff happened later. She was getting in, scheming. So right here, we have Naomi telling this lady what to do. Okay, so one group of people think that she lifted up the covers and she laid down right there at his feet. Right? But there's another group that believes that something else happened. Okay, so it shall be when he lies down that you shall notice the place where he lies. And you shall go and uncover his feet and lie down. Then he will tell you what you shall do. She said to her, all that you say I will do. Ruth agrees to the plan. So she went down to the threshing floor and did according to all that her mother-in-law had commanded her. When Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was merry. He is drunk, ladies and gentlemen. he went to lie down at the end of the heap of grain, and she came secretly and uncovered his feet and lay down. It happened in the middle of the night that the man was startled and bent forward, and behold, a woman was lying at his feet. He said, who are you? And she answered, I am Ruth, your maid. So spread your covering over your maid, for you are a close relative. Then he said, May you be blessed of the Lord, my daughter. You have shown your last kindness to be better than the first by not going after young men, whether poor or rich. Now, my daughter, do not fear. I will do for you whatever you ask after that. For all my people in the city know that you are a woman of excellence. Excellent. Now, it is true I am a close relative. However, there is a relative closer than I. Remain this night, and when morning comes, if he will redeem you, good, let him redeem you. But if he does not wish to redeem you, then I will redeem you. As the Lord lives, lie down until morning. So she lay at his feet until morning, and rose before one could recognize another. And he said, Let it not be known that the woman came to the threshing floor. Again he said, Give me the cloak that is on you, and hold it. So she held it, and he measured 6 measures of barley and laid it on her. Then she went into the city. And when she came to her mother-in-law, she said, How'd it go, my daughter? And she told her all that the man had done for her. She said, These 6 measures of barley he gave to me, for he said, Do not go to your mother-in-law empty-handed. Then he said, Wait, my daughter, until you know how the matter turns out, for the man will not rest until he has settled it today. Okay, let's unpack that before we look at Boaz, because, if you couldn't sense it, I don't know if you could feel the sexual tension in it. But you got to understand culture. But we want to, so here we have Naomi telling this lady, this girl, what to do to secure. That's why she said security. Should I not make security for you? What she's going to do is she's going to sell a piece of land, right? So, I'm going to look at that. Let's look at this first. Sorry, I didn't mean to go that far. So Naomi's like, so check it out. When Boaz goes to lie down, you shall notice the place where he lies, and you shall go and uncover his feet and lie down. Then he will tell you what you shall do. All that you say, I will do, she said. So she's agreed to it. So she went down to the threshing floor where the barley was, where the beer was, folks. Remember? He threshes, the threshing floor is where he's threshing barley for beer. And when Boaz had eaten and drunk and his heart was merry, this guy is drunk. Do you remember what happened to Lot, when he was drunk? We'll get to Noah in a minute. But you remember Lot? What happened to Lot? How did he get drunk? And I'm in no way saying that Ruth got Boaz drunk, but Lot's daughters got him drunk and said, we need a man-child. We want a child. We want to have a baby, and we're going to use you to get it. And they got Lot drunk, and they had sex with him. You don't think that's true? You don't know your Bible then if you don't. I mean, come on. Or let's look at Noah. He got drunk, naked in his tent. And Ham looked at him and was cursed for it. When Boaz had eaten and drunk and his heart was merry, he went to lie down at the end of the heap of grain, and she came secretly and uncovered his feet and lay down. Okay, so we're going to look at this uncovered his feet phrase right there. And we're going to go look up here. Let me see. So we want to go down right here, and we want to look at interaction with the law, LBD. Answer: in Hebrew, the word feet is often used as a euphemism for genitals. When Naomi instructs her daughter-in-law to go and uncover his feet and lie down, Ruth basically talking about uncovering his genitalia. In the Women's Bible Commentary, they see it as her desperate measures. The place is associated with, like the barley, the threshing floor, associated place with illicit sexual activity. The sense of danger is compounded when Naomi tells Ruth to keep herself hidden until an opportune moment, then uncover his feet. The Hebrew may mean legs, like uncover his legs, like totally uncover him. The more common word for feet is sometimes a euphemism for genitals. Lie down next to him after you uncover his genitals and wait for the man to tell you what to do. Tell her what to do. The sexual overtones that permeate the chapter are repetitive, right? So you have this situation where it appears that she's going in there not... See, some people, the argument is that she's going in there to like trick him and like to guarantee that to sleep with her, to guarantee that he's going to do something. But I don't think it's quite like that. Yet that is a reality that you have to wrestle with, especially when you understand what Naomi was saying and doing. So Naomi told her what to do. Naomi told her to pull the covers back, right, to uncover his feet. Handle the temper. Yes, yeah. I suppose she didn't uncover his body, but only feet. Yeah, that is one view, and it's a very tame and polite view. He is drunk. He is drunk. And she got under the covers with him. That's just the polite way of saying she got under the covers with him. So she said, so when Boaz had eaten and drunk and his heart was merry, he went to lie down at the end of the heap of grain, and she came secretly and uncovered his feet and lay down. He's probably not under covers. He's got his gown on that he's walking around in, right? You know, and she pulled it up. And she could have been just laying right there, but there's nothing in anywhere that gives the idea that she's literally laying at his feet, although it says that. But a sign of respect. I mean, listen to what he says. I mean, it's difficult to think about too, but it happened in the middle of the night that the man was startled and bent forward, and behold, a woman was lying at his feet. He said, "Who are you?" And she answered, "I am Ruth, your maid. So spread your covering over your maid, for you are a close relative." And then he said, "May you be blessed of the Lord, my daughter. You have shown your last kindness to be better than the first to your mother." Okay, she saved her mother-in-law's life. She worked her butt off for this woman. And he's saying that you came to an old man. You came and lied down with an old man. So you have shown your last kindness to be better than the first by not going after young men, whether poor or rich. What's the negative, the opposite of that? Going after an old man. Now, my daughter, do not fear. I will do for you whatever you ask. See, this isn't just laying at his feet. There is something going on here. She is sealing the deal. She's making security. This is what Naomi was saying. I know it's hard. I know. It's hard. Like, you're like, no way. You can't look at it like this. You can't look at it from a Westerner point of view. She said, Naomi, her mother-in-law, said to her, "My daughter, shall I not seek security for you, that it may be well with you? Now is not Boaz our kinsman, with whose maids you were? Behold, he winnows barley at the threshing floor tonight. He's going to get drunk. He's drinking with his buddies down at the bar tonight. Wash yourself. Make yourself as attractive as possible." Why is she going through this? Why is she getting herself done up? Wash yourself, anoint yourself, smell good, put on your best clothes, go down to the threshing floor, but do not make yourself known to the man until he is finished eating and drinking, until he's drunk enough to do what she wants him to do. It shall be when he lies down that you shall notice the place where he lies. And you shall go and uncover his feet and lie down. Then he will tell you what you shall do. What you shall do. What you shall do. He'll tell you what to do. Then Ruth said to her, "All that you say I will do." So she went down to the threshing floor and did according to all that her mother-in-law had commanded her. When Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was merry, when he had eaten and drank enough to be drunk, he went to lie down at the end of the heap of grain. And she came secretly and uncovered his feet and lay down. He has a one-piece thing on here. How far did she pull up his garment? Up to his knees? I mean, she had to get enough to cover her. She is uncovering this man's legs to get in there. I mean, how big is this tunic, this clothing, that she's able to get in there with him? This is not a bed. He's not going to a bed. He is dressed. He's going and he's laying down on a bale of straw or in some hay. He's down at the end of the pile of hay. And so he kind of collapses. He's in his clothes. This is not a hotel. He's in his clothes. And so how you think Naomi is going to lay under the covers of his feet? You think that tunic or whatever it is was not that long. You understand what I'm saying? Folks, she went in there to do something. And she did it. And she not only was obeying unknowingly the sovereignty of God, that the line of Christ was preserved, and a type of Christ was portrayed in Boaz, taking the Moabite woman, the Gentile woman. You know, remember, he's been working it the whole time, Black Knight. He's been working it. Look, and it happened in the middle of the night that the man was startled, and he bent forward, and behold, a woman was lying at his feet. He said, "Who are you?" And she answered, "I am Ruth, your maid." So spread your covering over your maid, for you are a close relative. He doesn't have a king-size quilt on him. He doesn't have a queen-size bed duvet hanging over him. Now, here, yeah, go ahead. Is that hilarious or what? He said, and then he says, and he said, "Who are you?" And she answered, "I am Ruth, your maid. So spread your covering over your maid, for you are a close relative." Did she say the close relative so he wouldn't touch her sexually? Maybe. But that's not, why'd she get so done up? See? She's only related, she is not related to this man by blood. So this is what happens. And he said, "May you be blessed." And then he goes, I'll redeem you if the other guy doesn't. Okay, that's what he says. And then she goes back to Naomi like, "Naomi, how'd it go? How'd it go?" Where is it? You got to see this. Yeah, so she told her all that the man had done for her. Right? Done. So let's look. That symbol, if you look right here, see? We can't, our legalism won't let us put what it really is. Don't you understand what I'm trying to tell you? It should not be far. It should be two. When she came to her mother-in-law, she said, "How did it go, my daughter?" And she told her all that the man had done to her. See, so right here, we've got another verse. So it's that same thing. So how did it go, my daughter? And she told her all that the man had done for her. So here we go. We're going to look at it in this sense. Trying to get it open. Here we go. So we have this one. We have a different 2 in the direction, but it's ascending, like you're going up. So it isn't a normal 2. Okay, here we go. So that word that was that he had all that he had done for me. Here it is. See, it should be 2. It's the same thing. 2. When she came to her mother-in-law, she said, "How did it go, my daughter?" And she told her all that the man had done to her. She said, "These 6 measures of barley he gave me," for he said, "Do not go to your mother-in-law empty-handed." He paid her for it. I mean, he's taking care of her. He is taking care of her. He's covering her, yes. As Wanda Tolov, yes. As one made Tolov, as what version of this? This is the New American Standard. Very wooden translation. Yeah, but it ain't the King James. It ain't the King James. Go ahead, read it in the King James. I bet we could even have more fun with it in the King James. Now Boaz went up to the gate and sat down there, and behold, the close relative of whom Boaz spoke was passing by. So he said, "Turn aside, friend. Come over here." See, do you talk like that? You gotta bridge the gap. You gotta bridge the modern world with the biblical world. So Boaz went up to the gate and sat down there, and behold, the close relative who Boaz spoke was passing by. So he said, "Turn aside, friend. Sit down here." Say, "Yo, dude, come sit down over here. Let me talk to you." And he turned aside and sat down. He took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, "Yo, come sit down over here." So he's getting ready to make the transaction. Then he said to the closest relative, Naomi, who has come back from the land of Moab, has to sell the piece of land which belonged to our brother Elimelech. So I thought to inform you, saying, buy it before those who are sitting here and before the elders of my... So here we got Boaz. He's calling these elders. He's going to settle this land deal right now. He's going to say, man, this lady, she's done everything to take care of her husband's died. She needs the money. We need to move this on. As a church, we need to move this thing forward and take care of this woman. Okay. Yo, close relative, before we do this, come over here. I want to talk to you. So the close relative walks over to the other side of the room with Boaz. And Boaz says, then he said to the closest relative, Naomi, who has come back from the land of Moab, has to sell the piece of land which belonged to her brother Elimelech. So it's his brother. So he said, so I thought to inform you, saying, buy it. You should buy it before those are sitting over there. See those elders over there? Someone's going to buy that land. But this is your chance. See, you're the redeemer. You're the kinsman redeemer, man. You got to take care of this. Listen, I know you got a wife and kids of your own. I know you're trying to. I understand that, man. But listen. I just, you need to redeem it, and you need to redeem it. You need to take care of Naomi. I know you got a lot on your plate, but you need to do it. And he said, I thought to inform you, saying, buy it before those who are sitting here and before the elders of my people. If you will redeem it, but if not, tell me that I may know. For there is no one but you to redeem it, and I am after you. And he said, I will redeem it. Then Boaz said, okay, I just want to let you know a little issue. There is a little, I left out some of the details. Yeah. So I left out a deal. I know you got your wife and kids. I know your ox fell in a hole and you had to get it out. I get it. But listen to me. There's something I left out. I'm just going to tell you. And Boaz said, right here, verse 5, on the day that you buy the field from the hand of Naomi, you must also acquire Ruth, the Moabitess, the widow of the deceased, in order to raise up the name of the deceased on his inheritance. So, I get it. You're a busy man, but you're about to get a lot busier. So there's 2 women that come with this one. So, all right. So I'm really glad that you said you would redeem it, because I'm really worried about these. This is my cousin. My cousin's wife, Naomi. I'm looking out for him. So I'm really glad you agreed to do this. And I'm really glad. I don't think Ruth eats much. She's kind of tiny, but Naomi's kind of a little bigger bone. And she may eat a little more. So I would think that maybe just a little bit extra work on your part, maybe on your wife's part, make a little bit extra bread. He's like, whoa, wait a minute. The closest relative said, I cannot redeem it for myself because I would jeopardize my own inheritance. Redeem it for yourself. You have my right of redemption. I can't redeem it. You do it. Now, this was the custom in former times in Israel concerning the redemption and the exchange of land to confirm any matter. A man removed his sandal and gave it to another, and this was the manner of attestation in Israel. So do you do that? Do you exchange sandals? See how far removed we are? You don't know all that went on in that day. Neither do I. You have to research. You have to get into it. Find out. So the closest relative said, whoa, buy it for yourself, man. I don't want to have anything to do with this. Then Boaz said to the elders and all the people, you are witness today that I have bought from the hand of Naomi all that belonged to Elimelech, and all that belonged to Chilion and Mohalan. He owns it all now, the landowner. Moreover, I have acquired Ruth, the Moabitess, the widow of Mahalan, to be my wife in order to raise up the name of the deceased on his inheritance, so that the name of the deceased will not be cut off from his brothers or from the court of his birthplace. You are witnesses today. All the people who were in the court and the elders said, we are witnesses. May the Lord make the woman who is coming into your home like Rachel and Leah. And he's like, oh, shoot. He's like, he had to work 14 years for those 2 ladies. And one had the eyes of a cow. That was Leah. That was all she had, was the eyes like a cow. Pretty eyes. She had pretty eyes. Yeah, pretty eyes. The writer is showing us that Ruth is the female Jacob. Who manipulated her way. Boaz redeemed Ruth. Yes, he did. But Ruth, Naomi and Ruth, they schemed big time to get it to happen. And they are in the line of Christ. So before you get so legalistic, study your Bible, read your Bible, leave out the Western view. Leave it to America. America makes sex so shameful. Your mother shamed you. It's okay to be beautiful. You're not tempting anyone. You're not like acting like a whore. It's okay. Leave it to the Western world to pervert the very thing that creates life and to make it shameful. We are witnesses. May the Lord make the woman like Rachel and Leah, both of whom built the house of Israel. And may you achieve wealth in Epaphra, whatever, and become famous in Bethlehem. Get glory. Moreover, may your house be like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah, through the offspring which the Lord will give you by this young woman. So Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife, and he went into her. And the Lord enabled her to conceive, and she gave birth to a son. Then the woman said to Naomi, "Blessed is the Lord, who has not left you without a redeemer today, and may his name become famous in Israel." Glory. May he also be to you a restorer of life and a sustainer of your old age, for your daughter-in-law, who loves you and is better to you than 7 sons, has given birth to him. Then Naomi took the child and laid him in her lap and became his nurse. The neighbor women gave him a name, saying, "A son has been born to Naomi." So they named him Obed. He is the father of Jesse, the father of David. Now, these are the generations of Perez. To Perez was born Hezron, and to Hezron was born Ram, and Ram Aminadab, and to Aminadab was born Noshan, and to Noshan Salmon, and to Salmon was born Boaz, and to Boaz Obed, and to Obed was born Jesse, and Jesse David. Yeah. You see, the legalistic version is so boring and so unlike reality. So boring. And it's because of our legalism we cannot see what is happening, which is the case with so much nowadays. That strong delusion, the counterfeit gospel, which is the one full of legalism, one that claims to understand grace, the one that claims to be about grace and faith alone, but yet wants to add every little single thing to being saved, that you can't possibly be saved looking like that and talking like that and acting like that. That's right. Because you're legalistic, and in under your gospel, that is the case. John Barker said, so they moved forward with the purchase. He who overcomes, I will make him a pillar in the temple of my God. Are you aware of the pillar of Boaz? It's in 1 Kings. It's in Solomon's temple. Boaz. That you'll never really fully understand the book of Revelation until you understand that The book of Revelation is the story of the rescue of the betrothed bride of Christ from the evil emperor, the devil, by her beloved Boaz. That is what the image is. The strong angel, or before, when the Lamb of God gets the scroll with the 7 seals, the book, the 7 seals. Where he gets his inheritance. And it says that you have purchased men for God with your blood. The purchase was complete. The transaction was made. Do you know who was given the money? Do you know who got paid off? Do you understand who was paid off? You bought for God. You purchased men for God. Ladies and gentlemen, the Western church has lost their way. They can't see reality. They can't even read. They can't see it because they want to see it with their view, their set of morals rather than God's. You can't tell me. There's nothing in the Bible that you can show me that said if Naomi was to sleep with Boaz that night when she went to him secretly, that anything was wrong with it. Why is that wrong? It's part of the culture. But there's no verse that you can find. He says, "He shall not commit adultery." Adultery is committed by people who are married. Okay, we're talking about fornication. But how is it fornication? How is it fornication? How is it fornication? She married him. He took her. He redeemed her. He had even told her. You think you need a wedding ceremony with an American Western marriage license? Are you crazy? Marriage is between a woman, a man, and God. Nowhere does it say that there has to be a priest or a pastor performing the wedding ceremony. That's all just part of tradition. It's a picture, baptism. It's a picture of the bride of Christ. When the strong angel comes with one foot on the land and the sea where we left off in the book of Revelation, he's holding the little book. When he's got the deed to his inheritance, he's got the deed to the earth, he's surveying his own land, and he sees the damage that the tenants have caused, and he's angry. And then John takes that little book from him, and John eats the little book, and his stomach is made bitter. He's made sick. And he throws up. Yeah. And what comes out of him are the two witnesses. The two witnesses are there all of a sudden. He had to eat the book for the two witnesses to come out. And they come out and they're showing something. This is apocalyptic literature that you can't turn off. When you're honest with yourself, do I need to answer some questions? It looks like people are having some issues with things I'm saying, and I need to clarify. The ones that did, I was made to love said, I think Boaz followed the rules of the land at that time. Absolutely, that's what he did. He absolutely did. He lived by the laws of the land. And he saw what he wanted and he knew how to get it. Just like the Lord. It is an absolutely beautiful story, Susan Soler. This is, if you think that my interpretation makes it where it's not beautiful, that's the thing. You're not looking at reality, how life really is. It's rough, it's raw. It doesn't look like it does in your like cookie cutter bedroom and living room and cookie cutter car and job. That's not what we're talking about here. Get out of that mindset. Life is raw. Life is dirty. Life is not your friend. Life is violent. Life is against you. Life hates you. Yeah, Black Knight said he made it legal with the sandal. That was after the night. Hey, Esther faked being a pagan, it was Hanash or whatever. She changed her name to Esther, and she showed the king a night that he would never forget, better than any of the other girls, because he had like 70 of them or 50 or whatever, or hundreds, and he was trying out which one was the best in bed. And Esther was the best. Come on now. Renee Beard says you got to do what you got to do. Hey, to survive. When you're in a situation, you might survive. You might do all kind of things to survive, including, hey, you say you won't. You're foolish. You don't know. You've never been in that situation. You've never been at the edge of death from hunger or watching your little child die like that. It's horrible. I heard one of the worst things in the world is to watch a person die of thirst. It's violent. It's nasty. Because your organs dry out in your body and you're alive while it's happening. Folks, Boaz and Ruth are a story and a picture, a story of us, a picture of us. And These are beautiful, beautiful stories. Don't take the rawness, the life out of them. Don't make them Hollywoodized. I was made to love says we are to be like Jesus. Amen. And I was made to love says because we are sinners does not make it the correct way to be. No, but I think that Westerners have misdefined sin, and that Westerners are so legalistic, they're tougher on themselves and more strict on themselves than even God is. That the things God winks at, we put to death for. By the things that God winks at, as a Christian, that we don't want to believe that we're declared righteous, that we're justified. We don't want to believe it because we love to hold on to that guilt. We like to hold on to the guilt. We like to condemn ourselves. We like to be in control of even our own judgment. And we like to judge ourselves. Paul says, I don't even judge myself. It's sin living in me. It isn't me that does these things that I don't want to do. It's sin living in me. Who's going to save me from this body of death? Oh, my goodness. Spring, they were human. We are human. Human condition causes desperate decisions at times. Yes. But you see, is there anything wrong with being human? And you say, no. But you're not to do this, this, and that. You give these 10 commandments. Even though Jesus says we're not under law, you still pushing to keep it. And you say, but you can't do whatever you want. So you're not going to do whatever you want if you're truly saved. If you have the Holy Spirit in you, you're not going to do it. Don't be extreme. Don't be extreme. I was made to love said, I'm not you men. I was made to love says, we are men and women. Oh yeah, well, I'm an alien. I'm a new species, a new creation. This body of mine was born in 1970, but I was created in 1976. How does that make you more holy? Human is just a species. All right, folks, I think we're going to head out from here. And if you would consider giving on PayPal, that would be wonderful. Support this show. And I kind of gave my whole show to what I wanted to show you. And please consider supporting this show on PayPal. One of the mods will put the link in, and I thank you in advance for that support. Keep your faith in God's word. Be humble. And be humble and search the scripture. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Marty, for putting that PayPal link in there. Folks, if you please, we survive on your gifts, so please consider giving. Remember, we're looking at the style of God. And trust me, it doesn't look like your style. It's his. And as an author, as a writer, he's got a style. And the Bible is his novel. Joe Prindis says created in 76. Yeah. My host, my body was harvested in 1970, but I was created in 1976. I'm a different species than mankind. I'm not the same species as a normal person. I'm a new man. I'm a new species. Debbie Smith McConnell said, is there a mailing address? There is. It's in the video description. Let me see if I can get that for you. It's a post office. Oh, it's not in this one. It's going to be in one of the other videos. Shoot. Mods, could one of you grab the post office box link? I'm sorry. Thank you, Debbie Smith McConnell. Thank you. Thank you. You know, I'm a you-man. Yeah. It's amazing what we like to talk about that makes us feel like we are intelligent and enlightened. And that unimportant things that have no bearing on reality at all. You know, and the people that they love to exposit the Bible, tell you all of these great things, but they never tell you things like help you be more holy. How do you walk and be more like Christ? Pray without ceasing. He stands at the door and knocks. And whoever hears his voice will come into you and dine with you. That's to Christians, not to it's made the love. So defensive. Come on. So I can't even remember what I said. I'm sorry. I was made the love is having an issue. Thank you, Debbie Smith McConnell. Thank you. Listen, my body was born. I was made to love. You aren't emulating Jesus right now. You may think you are, but you're not. Anyway, yeah, see, it's just strife. It's just not worth it, you know. You know, if you want to have a teaching show, go have one. My body was born or created into this world, was created 9 months before I was actually born, in 1970. June 16th, 1970. I became a new creation in 1976 at age 6. I was recreated. That's why I say my body was harvested in 1970. But I was created in 1976. I am an alien. I am not of this world. I am a different species than a normal person. I am not a hybrid. I am a new species. I am not the same as Adam. I am the new Adam. Well, there you go. There you go. There's the Marty Mouse just put the post office box in there. So if anybody wants to send anything there, please, you know, even if you want to just drop me a line, I mean, I pay for a post office box. I should at least get something in it, right? Oh, Malcolm Clark, June 3rd. Cool. Gemini. Yeah, I was like 6 years old. Spring says I was saved when 15. Thank you, Debbie Smith McConnell. Thank you. You know, I hope You saw him tonight. That he wants to be intimate with you. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. Anyone hears my voice, I will come into him. This is very, very intimate. Very intimate. And the picture of Boaz and Ruth is for us. Our kinsman redeemer has redeemed us. Thank you, Sean. Our kinsman redeemer, the one that did not come in the likeness of God, but came in the likeness of sinful man, did not think that it would be beneficial to come in the likeness of God, but come in the likeness of man, of sinful man. In the beginning, God created man in his image, but then he fell, and that image was defaced. So Jesus Christ came to the earth in the image of man, as sinful man, and suffered and died and paid the price so that we could become one new man, a new species. That's amazing. Think about him when you walk to the mailbox. Think about him while you're in the car. Play worship music so you're always thinking about him. Say verses to yourself when you're just driving. Make sure they're verses that you're reading in whatever book you're trying to master. If I were you, I'd try to master Revelation. We're all doing it together. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. Just say it. Come to me, all who are weary, and I will give you rest, for my yoke is easy. Mark the gospel of the ox. Peace be with you. Go. Be good to yourself. Rest. Nothing you do will surprise the Father. In fact, all you're doing is in his book already. Everything you're doing, it's already determined, even your sin. And if you have a problem with that, you don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. Go read. Go study. Go figure out what it means for the Lord to be king of the universe, that he is in control over all things, that this world belongs to him. And Satan, the devil, whatever we call him, Lucifer, he is doing exactly as God wants him to do. He does nothing of himself. He cannot. The same thing that you say, I can do, apart from Christ, I can do nothing. I can do all things in Christ who strengthens me. Well, the Lord doesn't strengthen Satan, but he can't do anything of himself. He has to ask permission to do anything. He's following the lead of God, the Father. This is his story. He does whatever he pleases. And it's not sin, whatever that is. He doesn't have a sin nature. Yeah. Later, folks. May the Lord bless the hearing of his word tonight. And may you think on these things. And until tomorrow when we meet again, I'll see you. Take it easy. Bye.